To get started, I'm going to be using a little over 3 pounds of chicken. Normally when I make a chicken stock, I like to boil a whole chicken, but I had this in my freezer, so I'm going to use it. It is 4 drumsticks and 2 bone-in chicken breasts. I'm also going to be using 3 carrots, some celery, 1 whole onion, and 1 whole head of garlic. I also suggest you use a large pot. Here I have an 8-quart stock pot. I'm just going to give all of my veggies a rough chop. And I wanted to say that when you are using a whole onion, skin and all, you want to make sure that it is clean. So this is fairly clean, but sometimes I get onions and they still have clumps of dirt on them. And if you do have onions that still have a lot of dirt on them, just give them a good rinse. I also would like to mention that I had a celery stalk that was going bad, so I'm just going to use the whole thing basically. But if you are making this, you don't need to add all of the celery. You could add like 3 to 4 sticks of celery. That'll work just fine. So all of my veggies are at the bottom of my stock pot. So now I'm going to add all of the chicken. And I would like to mention that when you are making a really good chicken stock, it's best to use chicken with the bone in. Now, if you want to remove the skin beforehand, you can do that, but I don't find it very convenient. But I do say that using bone-in chicken works best for a good stock. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of salt. Next, I'm going to add whole black peppercorns. I'm adding around a teaspoon of this. Now, if you don't have whole black peppercorns, just add pepper. That works just as well. Now, the last thing I'm going to add is 5½ quarts of filtered water. Now all I'm going to do is bring this up to a low boil, and then I'm going to lower the heat and allow it to simmer for 1 hour. Now that everything is up to a low boil, I'm going to lower the heat and allow it to simmer slowly for 1 hour. And I also want to show you that during this process, I am going to start skimming any foam or scum that collects at the top. Okay, it has been 1 hour, so I am going to remove all of my chicken, and then I am going to remove all the meat from the bones. Now you can most definitely wait until the chicken cools to handle it, but I actually want to use the bones to go back into my stock pot. Okay, so I have all of my chicken bones, and back into the stock pot they go. And I am going to allow this to simmer for an additional hour. Okay, so my stock is ready, and as you can see, it has reduced, which means there's a lot of concentrated flavor in this delicious chicken stock. Now, all I'm going to do is remove most of the large chunks of vegetables, and then I'm going to strain it. Here I have a smaller stock pot and a fine mesh strainer, and I am just going to ladle it through the strainer, and when I get less in the pot, I'll just dump it through the strainer. And you could also place a cheesecloth over the strainer to get a really fine strain, but I don't mind if any bits pass through the strainer. But if you do want a more clear chicken stock without any residue or anything, you could add a cheesecloth to the strainer. Okay, so now I have my wonderful golden colored chicken stock. I'm going to wait until it comes to room temperature, and then I'm going to store it. Now, to store the chicken stock, you can use Ziploc bags, but I like to use freezer-safe containers. To make sure that your container is freezer safe, just look for some sort of indication, whether it's a snowflake or it actually says freezer safe. I just wanted to give you a small tip. When pouring liquid into your freezer-safe container, leave room for when your liquid freezes and expands. Be sure to check the description below this video for all the measurements and ingredients. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, click on the video icons for more recipes, or you can click on my picture icon to subscribe. Thanks for watching!